Hey there guys, I am SonicGhost and welcome to another challenge. Today we got a very special challenge going on in Splatoon 3. So without any further ado, listen up, it's going down. Reppin' Splatlands, we are deep cut. Here we go. It is time to announce a brand new challenge, which is something very interesting. We got a tournament qualifier for Japan going on right now between 6 to 8 a.m. Eastern. Now, I'm not in Japan, I live in North America, but I can actually participate in this challenge living here in this said territory, which is very bizarre when you think about it. But here we go, tournament qualifier for Japan. This here is a challenge that can let you qualify for a tournament in the Japan region, but if you do not live in Japan, I would assume you're not going to actually be eligible for the said tournament no matter place, but every region is allowed to play in the said challenge. You can get a QR code here. If you scan, it'll take you to a website detailing all the rules to qualify for the said tournament. A lot of information to go over, and if you really wanted to participate in the tournament, I would recommend reading all the stuff over on Nintendo's website, but we're just going to be playing this challenge, doing our usual 5 games to see where we stack up with our said challenge power, and I'll be playing more of this after the said video is done to see where I stack up. But this one's a little bit different. As you can see, I am moving around, but the controller is definitely not in my hands on this one. I mean, I have it off. I don't even have my Switch on for this. So, this one happened so early in the morning. People in my house are sleeping. I'm not gonna be screaming and hollering in the middle of the morning just to record a video. So this one, I recorded the gameplay, and I'm just gonna go through this in post-commentary style, which, to be fair, I don't really like doing this kind of a thing for a challenge video, because the point of these challenges is to play and see how well we can do in a said challenge, or to be like my own self-imposed challenge, or one that a game has to give us, in the case of the Splatoon challenge mode here. But this is just Turf War. There's nothing special about it. The only thing in Turf War here we have to really be mindful of is that primary gear abilities are enabled. There's no secondary abilities here, so anything you have on that's not a primary slot, say for the gear I'm using now, has a bunch of swim speed as secondary stuff, that does not get used. That's really it, because this is how Nintendo tournaments operate on the normal. They don't let you use secondary abilities. This way, anyone can run pretty much any type of gear they want without having to grind it up. So, this is pretty normal for Nintendo tournaments, but this is the first time that I've ever tried to even do something in the competitive circle in this kind of fashion, you know, just jumping into a tournament qualifier just to see where it would stack up. Even though I know I can't really participate in the tournament because I don't live in Japan. Just kind of caused a little bit of a problem on that one, but it's fine because I wanted to see where I would stack up compared to everyone else playing, which I wasn't even planning on even playing this, but I was not able to sleep at all the day that this challenge appeared, so hey man, this is good timing for me. I can't sleep. Well, might as well play Splatoon! Sometimes these challenge modes really do lock me in weird ways. So, this is a simple thing. We're just playing Turf War here, trying to see how well we can do. But since this is a tournament qualifier for Japan, and the time placement of the said challenge itself, I do feel like that this was a challenge I was going to be playing a lot more Japanese players, and sure enough, I did see a lot more Japanese names here than I'm used to, and the internet connection you'll see throughout a lot of the games here in this challenge were questionable connections at best with some people. And there's going to be one name that's going to be popping up quite a lot that I had a problem with, but we'll see that in due time. So far, first game here, don't really feel like I'm doing the hottest with my team. I mean, we're going back and forth here, trying to contest things, but the biggest problem I'm having is I can't leave base, and as a Nautilus, while I do have some range, I still need to get up close and personal to attack people. I can't just attack people from long distance. I do also need to get a little bit closer to do something, and I don't really have many opportunities here. The longest range weapon they do have is a toss-up between the Sloshing Machine and the Splatshot Nova, but the range that they have is not the problem per se, because it's not much. It's their specials. Their specials, as you see all the time here, with the triple ink strikes, grab, inkjet. Like, they were keeping us at base pretty much that entire game. So, yeah, that was a pretty rough beginning. Didn't set the best premise going forward for the challenge, I'm not gonna lie, but it's Turf War at the end of the day. So, these games, they can just flip in the last 30 seconds to the opposing team, or your team even, for winning. It doesn't really matter. Turf War is a game mode that really only the last few seconds actually make a difference. This is why I personally don't care for Turf War being used as a way to really see if you can play Splatoon competitively, simply just because there's too many random elements in there, and random elements in a competitive scene just don't really mix. You can't really see how good a player does with random elements. You kind of need to see just raw gameplay with nothing really gonna just randomly turn the tides. You just need something more straightforward, is what I'm trying to say. And unfortunately, Turf War, that ain't it. So, first game was a little rough, but hey, you know, we did our best. I did cover a lot of ground, got a decent amount of kills, so I feel fine enough for the first game. But now we're going to swap it up, as every game I'm trying to play at least something different. So, for the next game here, I'm using my T-Tech build, 10-Dick Splatter Shot. So, I have Last Ditch effort on, so the last 30 seconds I'll get all the buffs in the world for my ink efficiency, and then Ninja Squid will allow me to move around without being noticed. Maybe not the best to use for these maps, because the maps we have, Scorch Gorge and Eel Tail Alley, not many opportunities to really sneak up behind people. I mean, Eel Tail is just a giant hallway, so hit or miss on how well this ability can work, but this is something I'm comfortable using, so I'm going to try it out and see how well it works out for me. So, going into game number 2 here. Game number 2 takes us to Eel Tail Alley. And right away, let's see what we got. We got 2 Splatanas, a junior, and myself against Aerospray, Blob. Got ourselves Rapid Blaster and a Ink Brush. So, pretty back and forth in terms of killing potential and inking potential between both sides. I feel like this is a pretty good set of weapons. So, we'll just see how well we do in this game. Pushing forward here, just trying to take control of the middle of the map right away. I got some teammates above, so that's why I decided to go down below here. Fortunately, got taken out by the Rapid Blaster. But the other team is only surviving by the Rapid Blaster being alive. So, hey, that worked out for us. So, let's just jump back in, throw a bomb. And at this point, just be careful. Use Ninja Squid to our ability here just to sneak around the corner. I can hear the Rapid Blaster just shooting in the corner, so it really does help to play this game with headphones so you can actually hear everything going on. And sure enough, hearing that guy in the corner really helped me sneak up behind him and get him. So at this point, I jump up here to my bubbler and use my special to ink around the ground. And we're doing pretty good here. We got a lot of coverage, but I do feel like there's something going on here. Like, these guys are pushing in. Like, what's going on? So I immediately turn around. I'm glad I did, because I don't want these guys to stay in our base for too long. Even though we can control their side, it does not matter if the opposing team goes back to your base. You might as well just be wiping out things evenly at that point. It's just not a good idea to let them go in your base if you're in theirs. Sometimes it's best just to turn around and just ignore that push. So I'm going to take out the blob here. Pretty nice movement. Thankfully, the guy didn't really have any time to react. Got a nice bomb kill there, getting another one of their members. Looks like that was a Rapid Blaster, according to the icons up above. And again, there's someone in our base, so I'm going to go back and try to get him out of here, which thankfully he just used Reef Slider, so I know he's the Aerospray, the shortest range and also the weakest weapon. Couldn't really get him before he left, since he was moving pretty fast. But thankfully, he came back, so I'm just going to take him out real quick. Worth the trade on that one, because if the guy stuck around for too much longer, he would have probably got another special. And this guy's using Respawn Punisher, which makes no sense to me with the kind of weapon he has. Respawn Punisher is an ability that when you splat someone, they take longer to respawn, and also they don't come back with as much special gauge as they would normally. But you usually see longer range weapons use that, because when you die holding that said ability, those same punishments apply to you. So you don't see many short range weapons like an Aerospray use that, because Respawn Punisher 9 times out of 10 will punish you, not the opposing player. which is not ideal. So you don't really see Respawn Punisher use so many short ranges, and an arrow spray of all things is one of the worst weapons to use with that ability. We're at the end of the game here. We got a lot of coverage here. Just going to go ahead, throw around some bombs, some ink strikes, and take control of the map. That's a win. It's a pretty good one at that, too. Because that team, man, I swear, yeah, look at that. They're probably like around 30%. And sure enough, 33% to 61. That's a pretty good game. So I felt comfortable using this weapon. And I think this build does work out pretty well. Maybe could use a little bit of swim speed to make up for that slower ninja squid that we have, which it does suck because I am coming off of playing the other challenge that just happened technically a few hours before this one, where you can move extremely fast. You don't need any swim speed ups because it's just built into the challenge natively. But coming off of that mode, playing this one without any swim speed and having no secondary effects, you feel how slow Ninja Squid is. It's slow. So for our third game here, I'm swapping it up. I'm going to use a weapon I've been playing a lot in this recent season, the Heavy Edit Splatling. Heavy Edit is a really powerful weapon. It has the range of Nautilus, so it's not the longest range Splatling out there, but when you charge it up to full, you get a really fast and powerful shot. And this thing is really ink efficient, really good for painting, so it's very easy to also get special Tacticooler. So this weapon I feel really good about as of right now, so I'm going to use this. And as we also demonstrate here, using the fully charged up shot, I can just rip through all of the health. Like, 4 pellets will kill you, but with how fast the pellets hit, this thing can basically annihilate you in less than a second. Like, it's so fast. And it's a really fun gun, so it's what we use for game number 3. Unfortunately, because we are trying to queue up with other players in different regions, because most of North America for this is probably not playing because we're probably all asleep. That'd be the sensible thing to do. I'm not sensible, so I'm playing. And because of that, it's taking a lot longer to find games, whether it be if I'm just playing against all the same people on my side and the opposing side, or even just trying to find people out of my region. So it's a longer queue time than normal, but it makes sense. Again, at this hour, you're not going to find that many people playing Splatoon in this region. A lot of people are probably going to be asleep. So for this game, we got ourselves a decent amount of range on our side, got a good amount of painting potential, and they have a lot of range on their side with a heavy Splatling. That's definitely going to outrange us, so that's going to be a problem on the bridge. You take control of that bridge, you have control of the map here. Like, it's really a problem if a long-range weapon like a Splatling or a Charger can take control of the top portion of the bridge in Eel Tail, because you don't really have many options to go around to flank that said opponent on this map, and it can be really devastating. So I'm going to try to hold this control longer than the other Splatling, because it'd be really ideal if I can. So we had the NZAP try to get me up above. Luckily, didn't get me. Here, I can actually barely jump off the ledge to grab myself a drink with the Tacticooler and then pull back. By doing that, I get the drink while still being on the high ground, which is great. That big buff that Tacticooler got a few months ago really coming in clutch. So I'm going to go ahead and throw down my own Tacticooler and help my teammates in the bridge area. But unfortunately, a Kraken is chasing me here, so that's not the best time for my Tacticooler to come out. And if he does kill me, hey, at least I got the quick respawn time. So I'm going to just wait here. This guy's just super jumping, take him out. Pretty simple. That's 2 of them down at this point. Now we can push it into mid, because it's just these 2 guys down below, and the other guys are trying to jump back in. Let's not let these other teammates get back. And unfortunately for us, now the opposing team's trying to push on the bridge, and it just showed a great example of why you don't always super jump back into the game. 2 people tried to super jump to the bridge during combat. Yeah, that didn't work out for a reason, and gee, I wonder why. You have to really pay attention to the map when you're doing a super jump. See where people are, pay attention to what's going on, if there's opposing team members showing up on the map, and even if you can't see them, see there's like a paint trail being just covered up around where you want to jump in. Because if you see opposing ink around that area, do not jump. You will most definitely die. You really got to pay attention before you do a jump in. But here I'm going to drop my Tacticooler, And I'm just going to hope my teammates can take advantage of it in that spot. It's not the best spot, but at least it's under cover and not exposed, so that can kind of help. Unfortunately, got taken out by the wiper, which is not great. Just hurry back into the map. You know, much time left, and this opposing team is pushing in. A lot of missiles here, which is not ideal. But I do see the wiper, take him out. Got a Kraken, gonna try to get him out of the base here a little bit. Get on the bridge, and thankfully he followed me because no one else is up here. Kraken took me out, which is unfortunate, but I'm just now hoping my team can at least paint some of the map before this game is over. And with that, that is game. I don't think they had enough time to paint. But unfortunately, our wiper just decided, you know what would be funny? What if it just quits? We were losing, and I see a guy disconnect during the game screen. When the game is called, someone disconnects. I don't think that's an internet problem. I'm very certain that's a rage quit. And the reason why I'll say this is to give a little bit of a spoiler. That's not the only time that happens. Specifically with that guy. That's not the only time we will see that wiper player. It's gonna happen again. That's happened all the time when I was playing this. And this 2-hour rotation, I kept on getting matched up with this Fruta Bala guy, and they kept on disconnecting. There were some times where they disconnected at the very end of the game, which was a rage quit. I can clearly tell based on how they played the entire game with no connection problems, and then when the game was over, they quit. Like, no, that's a big coincidence. And it happens twice. Okay, Twice in the span of 10 minutes playing with this player. I wonder if salty. But then, later on, and I do not have footage of this as this happened about an hour after this set of games, so it wasn't part of this video, but I got matched with this guy in the opposing team, and they did disconnect. In fact, I think it happened twice when I was fighting this guy. Because I did get paired with this one a lot. I just was not expecting this same person all the time with their connection problems, but it kept on happening. And they were spazzing all over the map and were disconnecting in the middle of matches, so I do believe later on there were actual internet problems, and the guy was not quitting on purpose. He was actually getting screwed over by his internet connection, but it's hard to really say if that's a rage quit or if it's an internet connection based on future events. But when I was playing at this point, it looked like rage quits because we were losing pretty bad, and at the end the guy didn't want to lose, so I guess he just disconnects. And if you actually did that, sir, why? Like, seriously, you cannot do that in a tournament. This is one of the worst times to actually do rage quit disconnects because it's gonna show that you're gonna do something salty on stage if you're put in front of like a bunch of people in an IRL tournament scene. You get kicked off the premises like fast if you do anything dirty like that. I've heard stories of people at different fighting tournaments, like Evo is a good one I've heard some stories about, where people legitimately delete the game that is on the console being played at that tournament. So now people have to take that system and re-download the game that they're using for that said tournament at the time, which wastes so much time. I've heard horror stories at tournaments of people just either breaking things, causing a scene, or even deleting games just because of how mad they would get. And it's stupid, man. But man, I swear, the competitive scene sometimes, it can be filled with some of the most salty players that you can imagine, because people, when they don't get their way, they can show their tantrum pretty bad. It really does feel like that. It's dumb. But this game here so far, not really going great. Like, we're getting pinned in base real fast, and it's stayed that way for a good chunk of this round so far, which is not ideal. Haven't been able to really do much. As a heavy edit, I do want to play this a little bit closer to the vest. I want to stay further back, maybe at our base at times, but also kind of want to push in a little bit too. I want to get to that center platform if I can. I just cannot get out of base, and when I do, I die. So this has been a really rough game, to say the least. Not really having a good one here. So we've got to just play a little safer. Got teammate jumping back in from base, which not the best super jump spot. It's not that far away from where you spawn, but at least it saves you some time. This other teammate of mine, though, was pretty much jumping on a ledge, so I'm imagining they fell right away. Didn't really see that because of my camera angles. But we have a stamp here that pretty much took out the rest of my team. That's not ideal. I'm the only one left, so I'm just going to get away, put down a cooler. Everyone jump in the meat. You could just swim here in like 3 seconds, guys. I don't understand why we're jumping. Like, I mean, I don't know with this team. I do feel like this other team really shouldn't have overpowered as much as they did. Like, I get maybe a little bit of a push that these guys can do with what they have, but my teammates, I don't know. I just didn't feel confident with this team. There were a lot of problems. And as you can imagine, it was a loss. Not a good game, in my opinion. It was a pretty rough one. But hey, maybe the next one will finally have a pretty good set of teammates. No more disconnect problems. Cross your fingers. And have a pretty solid round. But for now, that's another loss, unfortunately. Now, because that last game didn't count, this was technically game 4. But it was our 3rd game to build up our power. We should be closer to our power than 305, but here we are. So at this point, let's change our weapon. At this point, heavy edit, you know, it's fine, but I'm going to swap to the Forged Spire Shot Pro, as this weapon here I think is pretty good for a turf war round like this because it's a strong weapon. It will kill you in 3 shots with pretty accurate aim. It has Booyah Bomb, so it's really good to pressure back people, and it's really good for coverage. Also a very powerful weapon. Suction Bomb's pretty good to blindside someone, especially if you hit on the wall. Like, this weapon's pretty solid. And not a weapon I get to use all that often, because I mainly use normal Spire Shot at this point if I use that weapon. Or if I want something more range, I go one of the Splatlings. So, I haven't played the Spire Shot Pro nearly as much as I used to. I played this weapon a lot back in Splatoon 2. But when this game came out, I just didn't really click with this one as much. Probably because the original Spire Shot, there were better options for the stuff it had. Like, if you need a weapon with crab, there were plenty of better crab weapons compared to Spire Shot Pro. An angle shooter is just hard to use, so that's why I didn't really use it much. Forge, though, I like this one. So going into our next game here, this is game 5 or 4 of the qualifying. My head hurts. Let's just go ahead, push into mid here, try and take control of the bridge, get a trade immediately, which is kind of funny. We traded with a Forged Spire Shot Pro, and we are that. That is the definition of a mirror match. Jump back in right on top of the bridge, which is great for us, because I want to stay up here if possible. I say as I jump down, but hey, I want to pay a little bit of the floor before I push forward. We've got some chumps launching here in the mid, and that was a dually that just blindsided me. I'm not going to lie on that one. That guy just kind of came out of nowhere. You gotta be careful because they do have Haunt as an ability, and that could be a problem for us because they will know where we're at if we splat that person, so that's not gonna help. Also, it does have Respawn Punisher abilities too, so when the dually gets splatted by me, as the case now Haunt will be active, so they'll find me on the map by just seeing through the walls with a thermal ink kind of property. And if they splat me when Haunt's active, it'll take long for me to respawn. I'll get less special. So, gotta be careful of the dualies now. But to be fair, I normally have to, because those things, you really can't fight that easily in Splatoon, I notice. Because half the time when I'm playing against a dually, I'm like this with my aim, because they move so fast. It is hard to keep up. I got taken out by a splat bomb, so that's just unfortunate. I couldn't even see the bomb. It landed in a blind spot for me. I really wish sometimes you could pull up the camera a little bit further in Splatoon. That was just me being stupid. Now I'm gonna really sugarcoat it. I was just dumb. It be that way sometimes. Let's jump back in the base here, or back from base, I should say. And careful, because I do hear Booyah Bomb over on the edge. Gotta be very careful. Barely missed getting killed by that said Booyah Bomb, which is good. Watch out for bombs, which I barely have enough time to react, because I am using Ninja Squid once again, which is slower, but at the same time, it does let me sneak up from people. Although in hindsight, Ninja Squid on this gun doesn't really make the most sense to use. Like, it can help, but I do feel without the extra swim speed on right now, it's just more of a deficit than anything else. Swim speed, I would benefit a little bit more from, just because being able to move a little bit faster, I can shark around opponents instead, which I just barely hold a direction on the joystick to move. Then you're moving in the ink without making any sounds or even any ripples, which even Ninja Squid will make ripples and sounds. It's just way less noticeable. So that would probably be more ideal with a weapon that has a little more range compared to something like a Flower Shot or a Flash-O-Matic, for example. It's really good to use Ninja Squid for more short-range weapons instead of long-range stuff. But unfortunately, this game, yeah, we lost this one. That was a pretty bad round there near the end. We were doing pretty good in the beginning portion, but it's taking a little bit of a long time here to get the results. Wonder if someone disconnected at the end of a game again because they lost. Well, we lost, as I said. So that was probably another disconnect, because when you see loading like that take forever, should not take that long to get the results screen, you know someone rage quit. Sure enough, there it is. One or more players unable to continue. Match will not count as a loss. I mean, thanks to us, I guess, to have that benefit of not having that count as a loss anymore. But I don't like when people rage quit. It's just annoying. I'd rather take the loss. I don't care, man. And look who it is. It's that same wiper from before. Yikes. Like, 2 in a row. At that point, I do hope that person got a timeout penalty, because that happened within a few minutes of each other. There was one game they disconnected, and then another game not too long after they did the same thing. I hope they got a penalty for that, because seriously, why do people rage quit in games like this? I would never understand. No matter how many different reasons people try to give me an explanation of why someone does that, there's no stakes here. Like, this is a tournament qualifier for a tournament that you're probably not going to be actually participating in. I highly doubt that person's in the Japan region. So if you're quitting for a tournament you have no say in, why are you here? Stop. I just want to play the game. I'm literally only playing this because I want to see where I stack up for the other players and get my 5 wins to get a shell-out token. Like, I'm not playing this to actually be competitive. So the have games just have internet problems always just irritate me, man. They really do. I'm not expecting the people to play with like gigabit speeds and wires on their consoles. I just want people not to rage quit. Too much to ask for, it feels like. But this game, I did swap out my shirt, as I said before. Ninja Squid on the Splash Up Pro just didn't feel like it was really doing that much without some kind of speed. So I'd swapped it out for some swim speed up. It just makes a little more sense, I feel, for what we're doing. So now with this game, we have a varied set of weapons here, I would say. We've got 2 10-attack Splash Shots, a Dynamo, and a Ballpoint. They have range between the Gold Dynamo and the Ballpoint, but the 2 T-Techs you gotta worry about because of all the Ink Strikes. 2 sets of Ink Strikes going off at once. Might as well just cover the entirety of the middle section, which is not ideal, so we have to be careful. But we have 2 Forged Splash Shot Pros, which means 2 sets of Booyahs, Crack-On Rollers, we do have a Kraken, and Beacons, but his teammate didn't really put down that many Beacons. They'll put them here and there, but, I mean, I don't expect them to put Beacons everywhere on the map because they're a little busy combat. And then we have Splash-O-Matics, we'll have Crab, which is good, because that'd be a good thing to pressure back. Thankfully, these guys didn't notice the beacon my teammate just put down in the middle of combat earlier, so I was able to sneak right back in, wait for the Ballpoint, and pop him in the head. Really convenient. Although, at this point, I'm a little worried, because I splat the Ballpoint. They take forever to die. They finally die, and then one of the 10-attack Splatter Shots disconnects. Sure. That's the one I thought lagged, not the one that took forever to register as a death. Alright. So, now we're having the opposite effect of what just happened with those other 2 Rage Quit games, where we're having legitimate internet problems now. So, what is happening? As I mentioned earlier, we are playing with players from Japan during this as well, because not as many people in my region are going to be playing, maybe not even from the European region, so we're going to be matched with some people across the pond, and that is where internet problems really come into play. Not because of the connection of their internet. No, there's just a giant gap between everyone's signals, so this one latency really hits hard. And the Ballpoint from earlier that lagged on me finally disconnected. So, talk about a weird game. Needless to say, we win this one. Do I feel good about this win? Not really, but we'll take those. We'll take the win. I do feel like this is not good for us, for score because I feel like this should count as 0. That was not a favorable game in anyone's side. We curb stopped them because no internet. So I don't really feel justified for the win, but hey, we'll have to take it. This is like game 7 at this point. Or 6. I'm losing count. There's been that many games. Of all of our 5 qualifying games, we have definitely gone overtime at this point because of 2 disconnects. So, yeah, don't blame me for losing track because I should have been done a while ago. So that was finally game number 4, which was really game number 6, going into game number 7. For 5 games. This is one of our weirdest challenge videos when it comes to how many games we play, but sometimes it just be that way. So for now, for our final game, deciding what we can play next, I think I'm going to play with the .52 Gal. Just like with the Splattershot Pro, this was a weapon I was playing a good amount near the end of Splatoon 2's life. And in this game, I played a lot of it when it first came out, but once I started to transition over to using Nautilus, I stopped using 52 Gal a lot more. I still use it here and there, but a lot of the times now I just sway more towards one of the splatter shots instead because 52 Gal uses a lot of ink for one. It's a little bit slow when you're moving around shooting, and its kit's really strong, to be fair. You have a wall, so it's really good for cover, and then the killer whale is really good for the range that this gun does lack in some fashion, because it's about the same range as a spider shot. So to have the killer whale push out a little bit further ahead is helpful. But I don't know, I've been clicking a lot more other types of weapons, and I like some of your specials more, because killer whale, while it's a good thing to pressure your opponents, it's really hard to get a kill with it. So while I do like using the special, I'm not the biggest fan of killer whale in certain situations. Sometimes I would rather have something like a booyah bomb or a triple ink strike, for example. Like those would just do a little bit more and cover more ground too. Well, here we go. This is our final game. I have to put quotes there in case someone else has a disconnection problem on our side. But supposedly final game number 7 of 5. Math is weird today. So let's just do our best in this one. On the opposing team, their biggest range is their 96 Gal, and it's the one that uses ink packs. We gotta be careful about it, because anytime we're gonna try to attack the vacuum, you can't just shoot directly at the player. But I can just shoot around them to make a path and then just like sneak up to them and then kill them from behind. It's really nice to be able to do that with a vacuum player. I know with other weapons like rollers and splatonas, you could just slash right through them or just bop them on the head, which is also an ideal strategy too. So maybe we'll see that here later on. Maybe we'll just take care of vacuum. For now though, let's just go ahead, continue painting the ground around us here, and just do our best to keep control of the opposing team's base, and it won't be able to do much. Here's the vacuum, just gonna go ahead, just rush around you and take him out. Easy. Didn't even need the sneak, because I was just bum rushing and I still got him. Put down a wall, which is the perfect time to do so, because I can use it for some really good cover. Use killer whale to pressure this one guy from their base to go further back into their base to get him out of the way. And now my team can kind of control the mid section there and push their way back over to where I'm at. Be very careful of the 3 Trizuka strikes, which I was surprised I didn't die from that, but I did die from the 96. So yeah, it was bound to happen eventually. We got beacons all over the place, which is really helpful for our sake, because now we can jump straight back to where we were without anyone noticing. And that's great, because I do see some people up above, which I can help take out. Fair enough, we just helped take out the ink brush, but we got hit by Reef Slider. Unfortunate timing, couldn't really get away from that. And now they're pushing in, so instead of jumping back anywhere towards the enemy base, I'm just going to go straight over to the bridge from over here and scout it out. Because that set of dualies is somewhere around here. Probably dropped down below. So I'm just going to try to keep control of the top of this bridge for now. Jump down below, help out teams down here. Very careful to suction bomb. Put down a wall, which will be more beneficial for everyone else than me. And just be careful. Kraken is pushing in, which is really helpful. So we got a good amount of the middle section covered. We can start pushing more, which is great, because now I'm going to throw down a wall. And I'm going to sneak around here a little bit. Get my killer whale to pressure this opponent back. Continue using wall to just cover and continue moving forward, which was a great call. Took out their 96. Keep on pushing ahead here. A guy's up on bridge. Let me just take care of him real quick, and that is game. Pretty simple there near the end. We were able just to push in and keep control, which was good. My team was struggling a little bit there, but me pushing ahead to take out some of their opponents really helped in the end because we won by 2%. So we take that win. And with that, that's our 5 qualifying games turned into 7, all completed. One of our longer challenge videos, which is ironic because it's Turf War. It's a short mode in the game. But we had too many games. That did not help things. So now out of our 7-5 games, our qualifying power is 1663, which, it's all right. I mean, if anything, I feel like that might have been a top 50. For all I know, it could be top 20 with the amount of players actually playing right now. It's hard to really say, because right now it's going to be a smaller pool of players. This challenge was only available in a 2-hour set, so only 1 rotation. And because of that, yeah, the amount of players you see here gonna be more limited, so who knows where that really puts us. But to jump ahead a little bit, I played more games and I got me my 5 wins, so for once in one of these challenge videos where I'm playing a Splatoon challenge mode, let's actually get the shell-out token and get a roll. This game was a pretty good one for us, as you saw. We got a good chunk of the map covered, so this was a pretty secured win. And at this point, I got me the 5 games that I needed for the said shell token. So at this point, my challenge power went up a little bit, but not enough because I lost a couple games before this. Ignore that. And with this, we got our shell token. So now we can get a free roll. So I'll stop the game. You can see our stats there. Got a lot of kills. 1 shy from any overall splatter on my side, but it's fine with me. Now let's get our free roll in. So we'll use that token, and what do we get? The heck is that thing? Like a little squid worm? I don't want to know. Well, either way, that's going to conclude it for this video. I feel like this was a weird challenge for many different reasons, most of them being internet. And at the end here, we can see we stacked up in the top 20 as a 1775 was my final score, and somehow that was top 20. All right, sure. But again, smaller player base probably during this. That's probably why we got in top 20. But this was an interesting challenge for us, a very different experience for me, and, you know, a fun time while you're just up in the middle of the night, or the morning in my case, just to play me some Splatoon. But that's going to do it, so thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one, and with that said, I'll see you guys next time.